Okay, so I'm going to show you how to knit the sleeve. You should have 38 stitches at your stitch holder or the scrap yarn. Now we're going to make total of 40 stitches for the sleeve. We're going to pick up 2 stitches from here. We cast on 2 stitches for the body, so we're going to make total of 40 stitches for the sleeves. So I'm going to use the same needle for the sleeve. I'm going to show you how to knit using the magic loop. So for each needle we're going to have 20 stitches for each side of the needle. Okay, so first we're going to insert the needle into one of the stitches right here. I'm going to insert it into right here, this here, and grab your yarn. I'm just going to fold it a little bit, okay, and just slide it in. Okay, so you have now this is the stitch number 1. Now we're going to knit while pick up all the stitches. We're just going to do 19 stitches. We're going to make 20 stitches on each needle, so there's already one right here, this one, and now we're going to pick up while knit 20 stitches. Okay, so this is 1. So I'm just going to knit the tail as well, so just to secure the stitches. This is 2. So once I knit the first stitch, I'm just going to slide the scrap yarn out of that first needle, of the from the first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm just going to knit with 1 strand. I'm just going to leave the tail behind. Okay, so there's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so I'm just going to double check whether I have total of 20 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I want to have total of 20 stitches. I'm going to knit one more, 19. So this is 20. Okay, so once you made all 20 stitches, you're going to slide this all the way here, and we're going to use this needle and knit the rest of the stitches right here and pick up 1 extra stitch to make it 20 stitches. So 1. So you have a loop right here. So that's 1. 2. 3, 19. Okay, so I've picked up all the 19 stitches from the scrap yarn. So now I'm going to add one more stitch to make it 20 stitches. So I'm just going to pick up, insert the knitting needle into one of these stitches right here. Just going to do this stitch and pull yarn over and pull the yarn into the stitch. Okay, so now we have 20 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. Okay, so done with that part. Okay, so that considered as round 1. So next going to knit. So if you're not familiar with magic loop, you will have 20 stitches right here and 20 stitches right here, and there's the knitting needle, the cord at the end right here. So you're going to pull the top needle where the working yarn is. Okay, pull it out and don't pull it. Make sure you still have this loop right here to separate both sides. Okay, so now you're just going to knit the first stitch. Okay, don't worry if there's a hole at the center right here, because you can just sew it up once we're done with the sleeve. Okay, just let all the stitches to the end of right here, so it's easy to knit. Okay, it's 2 3 4. Okay, we're just going to knit until you reach the last stitch right here. Okay, total of 20 stitches from here all the way there. Okay, so once you knitted until the last stitch, the 20 stitch, so next just going to pull the cord right here and turn the work. So now the working yarn is here. Just going to slide this needle in and pull the top yarn, the top needle out, and make sure you still have loop to separate both sides, and just go ahead and knit all the 20 stitches from the other side of the sleeve. Okay, so once you reach the end, and turn the work. So done with round 2. Okay, now for round 3 we're going to do the same. We're going to pull the top needle where the working yarn is, pull it out, and just to make sure you have loop right here to separate both sides. And we're going to knit the bottom needle, knit the stitches at the bottom needle. Okay, you're going to repeat the same. So now we're at round 3. Just go ahead and knit the same magic loop until you reach round 10, and at round 11 I'm going to show you how to do the decrease. Okay, we're going to the sleeve is going to have a slightly snug at the wrist area. Okay, so go ahead and knit up until you reach round 10. Okay, so I'll meet you there. Okay, now after you knit up 10 round of the sleeve, 10 round, so for round 11 we're going to do 2 decrease. So we're going to do knit two together at one side of the needle, and we're going to do SSK at the other side of the needle. Okay, so first we're going to knit 1, knit 1. Next we're going to do knit 2 together, knit 2 stitch together. We're going to do the decrease right now. So next we're going to knit the rest of the stitches right here. Okay, so once you knitted this side, we're going to knit this side. We're going to knit 17 stitches before we do the second decrease. We're going to knit 17. One, two. Okay, so once you knit up 17 stitches, next we're going to do SSK, which stands for slip slip knit. Okay, we're going to slip one stitch as if to knit, slip the second stitch as if to knit. Now we're going to slide it back to the left needle and knit both stitches together from the back loop. Okay, at the back loop. So we're going to knit the last stitch. Okay, so for round 11 you should have total of 38 stitches. Okay, so now for the next 10 round 12 until round 21, we're going to knit around all 38 stitches. Okay, so we're going to knit round 12 until 21 before we do another 2 stitch decrease. Okay, so go ahead and knit 10 rounds of knit stitch, and I'll meet you at row 21. Okay, so once you knit up the sleeve until round 21, okay, so next for round 22 we're going to do 2 stitch decrease. We're going to do the same as round 11. So we're going to knit 1 stitch, knit 2 stitch together, and then we're going to knit all the stitches here and here until you have 3 stitches left. Okay, so we're going to, for round 22 we're going to knit 1. Next we're going to knit 2 stitch together. These 2 stitch we're going to knit together, cat to dog. So next we're going to knit all the stitches at the left needle. Okay, going to knit all the stitches here and at the other side of the needle until you have 3 stitches left. Okay, so I'll meet you once you knitted all the stitches and you have 3 stitches left. Okay, so after you knitted around and you have 3 stitches left, next we're going to do another decrease. We're going to slip slip knit 2 stitches. Okay, you're going to slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, slide it back to the left needle. As you can see, it is twisted right there, and we're going to knit at the back loop. Okay, so now we're going to knit the last stitch. Okay, so done with round 22. You should have total of 36 stitches around. So okay, now that we're done with round 22, So for the next 10 round 23 until round 32, 10 total of 10 rounds, you're just going to knit around. Okay, so just knit from round 23 until round 32, and I'll meet you at the end of round 32. Okay, so every round you should have 36 stitches. Okay, so go ahead and finish up until round 32, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you knit up until you reach round 32, so this is how it looks like so far. Okay, now for round 33, we're going to make 2 more decrease. We're going to knit 2 together, cat to toe here, and SSK stitch right here. Okay, so let's start with knit 1. Next, we're going to knit 2 stitches together. So next we're going to knit 30 stitches. Okay, 30 stitches from here until this end, and from here until you have 3 stitches left. Okay, so go ahead and knit 30 stitches, 30, until you have 3 stitches left at the other side right here, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so once you reach the other side of the sleeve, now you have 3 stitches left. We're going to make another decrease, SSK decrease. So we're going to slip as if to knit. We're going to slip 1 and 2, and then we're going to slide back to the left needle. Okay, and then we're going to knit at the back loop right here, both stitch. Okay, so last stitch you're going to knit. Okay, so for round 33 you should have 34, total of 34 stitches. Okay, so we already made 3 decreases right here, and another one right there. So next for the next 10 round 34 until round 43, you're just going to knit around all the stitches. Okay, so go ahead and knit up until you reach round 43, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so once you knit up until you reach round 43, so far this is how it looks like. So for the next round 44, we're going to do another decrease. We're going to do 2 stitch decrease. So we're going to decrease here and right there. So for round 44, let's start with knit 1. Next, we're going to knit these 2 stitches together. Okay, so next we're going to knit 28 stitches. You're going to knit all the stitches here, and you're going to stop right here, just 3 stitches before the end. Okay, go ahead and knit 28 stitches, and I'll meet you right here, just 3 stitches before the end of the round. Okay, so once you knit all 28 stitches and you have 3 stitches left, next we're going to do SSK, slip slip knit, these 2 stitches right here. So you're going to slip as if to knit 1, slip as if to knit 2. So next we're going to slide it back to the left needle. Next we're going to knit these 2 stitches together. Okay, so the last stitch, you're just going to knit that stitch. So for round 44, you should have total of 32 stitches. Okay, so that round 44 is the last round for decrease. Next, for the next 5 rounds, round 45 until round 51, you're just going to knit around. Okay, just knit all 32 stitches from round 45 until round 51. Okay, so go ahead and finish up until you reach round 51, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you knit up until round 51, so this is how it looks like so far. So next step, we're going to do the garter stitch right here. So for round 52, we're going to purl every stitches. Okay, we're going to purl all 32 stitches. Okay, so go ahead and finish up round 52, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, just purl all the stitches. Okay, so once you're done with round 52, you purl all 32 stitches. For the next round, round 53, you're going to knit all 32 stitches. Round 53 is going to be a knit round. Okay, so just go ahead and knit all 32 stitches, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you're done with round 53, for the next round, round 54, it's going to be a purl round. You're going to purl all 32 stitches. Okay, so just go ahead and finish up round 54, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you're done with round 54, the next round, round 55, is going to be a knit round. Going to knit all 32 stitches. Okay, so go ahead, finish up, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you're done with round 55, so for the next round, round 56, we're going to do cast off. Okay, so I've showed you how to cast off earlier right here. So we're going to cast off all the stitches. We're going to knit 2, 1, 2. We're going to slide the first stitch over to the second stitch. Okay, so next we're going to knit 1 stitch, and we're going to slip this stitch over to the second stitch. Okay, so you're going to repeat until you cast off the last stitch. Okay, so once you're done cast off your last stitch, go ahead and cut the yarn. Just cut enough for you to weave in ends, and make sure to slide the yarn out. Okay, so we're going to weave this in. Okay, so we're done with the first sleeve. So next you're going to repeat the same, this sleeve over to this sleeve. Okay, so you have 38 stitches on this scrap yarn or your stitch holder, and you're going to make total of 40 stitches for the sleeve. So you're going to pick up make 2 extra stitches right here. Okay, so go ahead and finish up the other sleeve, and I'll meet you once you're done. Okay, so once you're done with the other sleeve, this is how the sweater looks like. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to do the hood. For the hood, we're going to pick up 35 stitches. Okay, so let's start. So for the hood, we're going to pick up 35 stitches. I'm going to start from the purple color because the hood up here is purple. So I'm just going to start the 5th stitch from the end. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. 1, 2. So I'm going to wrap the tail as well until it's short at the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so just go ahead and pick up 35 stitches. You should end somewhere right here. Okay, so once you're done picking up 35 stitches, so this is where I start, right here, and I end just about right here. Okay, so for the next 11 row 1 until row 11, you're going to do the stockinette stitch. So right now I am doing row 1, where I'm going to purl all 35 stitches. Okay, so once you're done with row 1, you're going to turn your work and you're going to knit 35 stitches. Okay, so you're going to knit the knit row and purl the purl row until you reach row 11. Okay, so go ahead and finish up, do the stockinette stitch until you reach row 11, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so once you knit up until row 11, so this is how it looks like. So for the next row, row 12, we're going to make 5 increases by doing yarn over. Okay, so there's no specific placement where you want to put it. I'll just put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to knit and just randomly place the yarn over. Just make sure place it evenly. Okay, so I'm going to do my first yarn over right here. My second yarn over, 2. Okay, this is third yarn over, 3. Four, okay, and here is going to be my 5th yarn over, number 5. Okay, so I'm going to knit the rest of the stitches. So for row 12, you should have total of 40 stitches. 40 includes the 5 yarn over stitch. Okay, so for next row 13, we're going to purl all the stitches, and for the yarn over stitch, we did it right here, where we're going to knit at the back loop only. Okay, we're going to knit at the back loop of the yarn over. Okay, so here's the yarn over stitch. We're going to knit at the back loop right here. Okay, so just continue, purl all the stitches and purl the yarn over stitch at the back loop. Okay, go ahead, finish up, and I'll meet you at the end of row 13. Okay, so once you're done with row 13, you purl all the stitches. So for the next 6 row 14 until row 19, you're just going to knit all the stitches at the knit side and purl at the purl side. Okay, so just go ahead and finish up until you reach row 19, and I'll meet you at the end of row 19. Okay, so just knit all the stitches, knit at the knit side and purl at the purl side. Okay, so I'll see you later. Okay, so once you're done with row 19, for the next row, row 20, we're going to do the same as row 12, where we're going to do 5 yarn over. So we're going to increase 5 stitches. So we're just going to do the 5 yarn over randomly, 1 2 3 4 5 right here. So I'm just going to knit. So this is for row 20. You're going to make 5 yarn over randomly at this row. Okay, so my first yarn over, 1, this is my second yarn over, this is my third yarn over, okay, so this is my fourth yarn over, and this is my fifth yarn over. Okay, so go ahead and knit the rest of the stitches. Okay, so done with row 20. For row 20, you should have total of 45 stitches. Okay, so once you're done with row 20, okay, so for the next row is row 21. Row 21, we're going to purl all 45 stitches, all the 45 stitches. And as usual, for the yarn over stitch from the previous round, you're going to purl it at the back loop. Okay, so this is the yarn over. We're going to purl at the back right here. Okay, so go ahead and finish up row 21 and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you're done with row 21, you purl all 45 stitches. So next, for the next 6 row, row 22 until row 27, you're going to knit at the knit side and purl at the purl side. Okay, so every row you should have 45 stitches. Okay, so go ahead and finish up row 22 until row 27. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of row 27. Okay, so once you're done with row 27, so far this is how it looks like. Okay, so for the next row, row 28, we're going to do 5 increases as well by doing the yarn over stitch. So as usual, we're going to place the yarn over randomly at row 28. Okay, so I'm going to place my first yarn over right here, 1. Okay, so this is my second yarn over. This is the third yarn over. Okay, so this is the fourth yarn over. Okay, and this is the fifth yarn over. Okay, so for row 28, you should have total of 50 stitches, 50. Okay, so we're done with row 28. You have total of 50 stitches after we made the 5 yarn over stitch. So next row 29, we're going to purl all 50 stitches. Okay, as usual for the yarn over stitch, you're going to purl it at the back loop of the stitch. Okay, so go ahead and finish up row 29 and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once you're done with row 29, you purl all 50 stitches. So for the next few rows, you're going to knit the knit side and you're going to purl the purl side. Okay, you're going to do the same knit and purl until you reach about 11.5 inches long from here. Okay, so we started the hood right here. Okay, so far we made about 5.5 inches, so we're going to continue until you reach 11.5 inches. Okay, so go ahead and finish up until you reach 11.5 inches long for the hood, and I'll meet you to show you the next step. Okay, so you're going to knit the knit side and you're going to purl the purl side. Okay, so we're not going to do any increase anymore. Okay, so I'll meet you once you're done. Okay, so once you knit up 11.5 inches for the hood, go ahead and cut the yarn, but make sure you end up at the end of the right side. Okay, so this is the knit side and my working yarn is at the left side. Okay, so if your working yarn is right here, go ahead and knit one more row and to make sure your working yarn is at the end, at the left side right here. Okay, so now go ahead and cut the yarn. Cut it slightly long because we're going to use that yarn to seam up the hood on top right here. I'm going to show you how to do the seamless how to sew it and make it look seamless. Okay, so cut the yarn and now grab your needle and let's start to seam the hood. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to divide. We have 50 stitches right here. We're going to divide 25 on each needle. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 2, 4, 5. Okay, so 25 stitches right here and 25 stitches right there. Okay, so next the knitting side should be at the front and the purl is inside. So now this working yarn should be on the top needle. Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to insert the needle as if to knit at this first stitch at the bottom needle. Okay, and then we're going to slide that out. So next we're going to insert the needle at the second stitch, at this stitch here as if to purl. But we're just going to leave it there. We're not going to slide it off the needle. So next we're going to insert the needle on this stitch as if to purl. Okay, and slide that stitch off the needle. Next we're going to insert the needle into the stitch as if to knit. But we're just going to leave the stitch there, we're not going to slide it off. Okay, so we're going to repeat the same. We're going to slide the needle as if to knit at the bottom stitch, and we're going to slide that out. Next, insert the needle in the stitch as if to purl. But we're just going to leave the stitch right there, and then we move on to the top needle. We're going to purl. Insert the needle as if to purl. Okay, and we're going to slide that off and just pull the stitch. And now we're going to insert the needle as if to knit, and we're just going to leave it there. Okay, as you can see, it looks seamless. So next we're going to repeat the bottom part. We're going to insert the needle as if to knit, and we're going to slide it off, and we're going to insert the needle in this stitch as if to purl. We're just going to leave the stitch right there, and then we move on to the top stitch. Insert needle as if to purl, and we're going to slide it off, and we're going to insert the needle as if to knit, and we're just going to leave it there. Okay, as you can see, this is how it looks like. So you're going to repeat the same until you reach the last stitch, and next I'm going to show you the next step. Okay. Okay, so once you almost at the last stitch, just go ahead and do the same. Release this, and alright, so it's all off the knitting needle right now. So this is how it looks like. As you can see, it is seamless. And to finish up this, just going to insert the needle right there. And just make a few knots to really secure all the stitches. Okay, so this is how the hood looks like. Next, we're going to do garter stitch at the front right here. We're going to do the same as right there. Okay, so we're going to take your knitting needle and the yarn. Okay, so we're just going to start right here. I'm just going to eyeball where I'm going to start. Okay, just right there. And just make sure you have enough tail for us to weave in both sides right here. I'm gonna show that once we're done with the garter stitch. Okay, so we're just going to pick up stitches. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this short tail right there because I'm going to use this to attach the garter stitch to this top right here. So we're just going to pick up stitches. Just go ahead and do all the way here, up here, and all the way to the side. Okay, so once you pick up all the stitches right here, okay, so we started right here and all the way till this end. So now we're going to do 5 rows of garter stitch. That means we're just going to knit every row. Okay, we're going to create the garter like this. Okay, so you're going to knit every row for total of 5 rows. Okay, so this is the first row. Yeah, this is the first row. The row that we pick up the stitch does not count as a row. Okay, so this is the first row. This is at the wrong side, so we're just going to knit all the stitches, and once you reach the end right here, just turn the work and you're going to knit around back to this point. Okay, so just go ahead and finish up. You're going to knit 5 rows. We're going to create the garter stitch, 5 rows of garter stitch. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of row 5. Okay, so once you're done with 5 rows of garter stitch, so this is how it looks like. Okay, so for the next row, we're going to do cast off. So it should end at the working yarn should be at this side. Okay, so now we're going to cast off. I've shown you how to do cast off at beginning of this video and also at part 1. So first we're going to knit 2, 1 and 2. So we're going to slip the first stitch over the second stitch. Okay, so we're going to knit 1 and we're going to slip the first stitch over to the second stitch. Okay, so you're going to repeat cast off until you reach the last stitch, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so once you knit your last stitch, slip the first over the second, and just going to cut the yarn. Cut it slightly longer because we need the extra yarn to attach it to this part right here. Okay, so just pull the yarn out. So now this is how it looks like. So next we're going to grab your needle and we're going to sew this part, the garter stitch, to this part right here. So there's no really right or wrong way to do this. I just do it up and down right here, in, okay, so this is how it looks like. Next I'm going to do it again. So now make knot. I'm going to make 2 knots to really secure all the stitches. And now within the ends. So this is how it looks like from this side. Next we're going to do this side and sew it to this part. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Now go ahead and make a knot. Yeah, so now go ahead and weave in all your ends. I'm going to weave here and right here. Okay, so I'll meet you once you're done weaving all your ends. Okay, so there you have it, guys. This is how I knit this hoodie jacket for size 3 years old to 4 years old. Okay, I make this for my 3.5 years old son. I made it slightly bigger so he can wear it throughout the winter or early spring next year. Okay, so I do hope you find this tutorial easy to follow. If you have any question, leave your question at the comment section down below. I'll try my best to reply. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, share this video with your fellow knitting friends. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already, that way you won't miss any of my future uploads. And also don't forget to follow me on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so for now, thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy knitting and I see you again. Take care. Bye.